T. Gray and MK, you are now cleared for flight school takeoff.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, well, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it running. I believe we only have a couple of things to talk about. The first thing we want to talk about is, guess what, everybody? If you can't tell from our backgrounds, we are in what? The goal zone. We are in the goal zone, folks. Between the 21st and the 30th of the month, the last 10 days, that is the time that we focus on what, everybody? Massive volume. That's right, massive volume. This is where we hunker down and we take everything that we've done in the first 20 days of the month, and now we convert. That's right. It's time to convert. It's time to create, to take all that exposure, right? To take all that recruiting and to turn it into a big volume push in the last 10 days of the month. This is where we get really focused on only the things that produce income, right? Your IPAs, your income producing activities. This is where we follow up. And we don't mess up on our follow-up. We don't mess up on our follow-through. Why? Because that's where the money resides, folks. The fortune is in the follow-up. We're making sure that when we're ending these conversations with folks, we're booking the next meeting. Even when they get in, we're continuing to book a meeting from a meeting. That's called BAM Fam, for those of you who's new. So now, here's what we need to do. We need to take a look. Who has seen a presentation so far in the month? And they have not decided yet. They haven't got in. They told you they needed to go get their money right. They told you they needed to, some time to get paid or something like that. Well, now it's time to go ahead and get them in, right? Who needs to upgrade, right? Who needs to upgrade because they got started at the affiliate pack or they got started at the executive pack. Now it's time to teach them the value of how the whole compensation plan have the CEO pack, right? It's also time to depth charge. So we taught you guys how to do that in the past. That's because you have the binary, you have the dual team that allows you to leverage timing and positioning as you get people started in your business. And so you can take those applications from people who haven't gotten started yet, and go ahead and help those people to get started, letting them know that by starting now, people who get started afterwards can go underneath them and contribute to the success of their business and their income. All right. Also, who on your team is working toward a rank? Who are the folks who need to go director? Who are the folks who are working on senior director, executive director, sapphire even? Who are those folks? Let's help them get to their next level. They should have been on a plan all month long, and now we're bringing that plan to fruition. When we do these things right, when we get very focused, you can literally drive 3 to 4 times the amount of volume in the last 10 days of the month that you did in the first 20 days of the month. I know, I've seen it. The first time Mr. Bug said that to me, I was like, man, I don't even know how that's possible, until I followed his coaching to the letter, and it started to happen like that almost every month. So I want to challenge you guys. We talk about this all the time. I want to challenge you guys to really lock down, hunker down, and do this. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the next slide, because I think we need to talk about my buddy, Mr. Trade Buddy.
I'm wearing my shirt.
Yeah, me too. I don't have my Trade Buddy shirt on. I got my Elevate, Buy Low, Sell High shirt.
Yep.
So what's Trade Buddy been doing, bro?
Yeah, Trade Buddy, PS20, week of 11/18 and through 11/22. Gold, 7 trades, 6 wins, 1,810 pips, win rate 86%, one standard lot traded $18,100. GJ, 4 trades, 4 wins, 100% win rate, 466 pips. If you would have traded one standard lot, it would have been $2,893. UCAD, 7 trades, 5 wins, max pips, 103, 71% win rate. If you would have traded one standard lot, it would have been $753.96. 18 trades, 15 wins, 83% win rate. If you would have taken all the pips, it would have been 2,379.
Wow. Wow. Did anybody add that up? How much money is that? Oh, Bonnie, do you have like calculator hands? Bonnie's got calculator hands, I promise you, because she always, as soon as I ask the question, she's always right there, Johnny on the spot with the number 23,372. That's right. If you would have taken every one of those trades at a one lot size, and that's the winners and the losers, your total win would be $23,000 this week, over 23,000. That is absolutely phenomenal, folks.
Okay.
I want to challenge you guys to take the trades. Trade, buddy. What happened?
Mr. Bugs isn't on yet.
Yeah, I know. He's messaging me right now. That's okay, though. I'm texting him back. What in the world are we doing around here? Okay. All right. Don't we have another slide though?
No.
We don't?
No. We need to Buster.
We need to who's Phil and who's Buster? All right. Well, I tell you what, why don't we do this? Since we're waiting for Mr. Bugs and we had some great trainings last week. How about we do a little Q&A? Let me ask you guys a question. Well, I want you guys to ask us a question. And we'll see if we'll answer it, if it's not a crazy question. Okay, I just realized Kevin Clayton's out there somewhere.
No, Kevin. Don't
I'm
ask
like,
the question.
Kevin Clayton's out there somewhere. So I'm like, we got to put a qualifier on that. It depends on the question. Right. All right. So let's see who we've got out there. We got, and they're not going to help us today. Look at this. We're getting emojis, filibuster time, greatest HB moments. One of the greatest HB moments was when we had that first event. And I think it was in Cancun. And we were by the pool, and it was crazy. We were just having such an amazing time, big pool party. And I don't know whose idea it was, which one of the big kids decided to start throwing people in the pool.
Oh, Jesus.
But that's what happened, the throwing people in the pool incident, right? So throwing people in the pool, like catching, they're just kind of taking innocent bystanders, just swing them, 1, 2, 3, and then launch them into the pool, right? And so they're doing that, guys, girls, nobody is safe, right? And then they grabbed this one guy, right? And he's definitely one of the nicest guys in the world, had one of the biggest hearts in the world. Unfortunately, he also had one of the biggest bodies in the world. This is a big dude, right? I mean, definitely big, heavy dude. And Holton and his cohorts, I'm watching this, by the way, from almost the other side of the pool. I'm in the water.
Yeah.
I'm staying clear of this. Mark,
I'm staying clear too. I tore my bicep tendon.
That day?
No,
before, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this and I'm like, this is gonna end badly. This is not going to be good, right? But it's still going on. It's still going on. When they got this dude, they won. 2.
I think it was.
I know who it was. I'm not saying the name.
Okay.
So they throw this guy in the pool. They throw him in the pool, right? And they didn't throw him very far, by the way. He was a big, heavy dude. But Mr. Bugs, did he tear his bicep that day?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's holding his arm. He can't move his arm. He's on the back of a golf cart going to the doctor. And next time we saw him, his arm is in a sling.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yes, sir. Okay. I think he's on.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, with that story being told, I got to stop using that hand because I keep covering the camera. With that story being told, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from wherever you are around the world, let's give it up for our CEO, visionary leader, coach, mentor, friend, brother to some, dad to others, Mr. Holton Buggs. Come on, HB, join us on camera.
Man, listen, it is absolutely fantastic and incredible to share this stage with you guys. How you doing?
Yes.
Uh-oh, you can't see me, can you? Okay,
We
there we
can't see you. No can see
there
you.
we go. HB is on fire today. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I brought my own continuous, I call it a perpetual fire emoji, if you will. It is the perpetual fire emoji. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
PFE, perpetual fire emoji.
Okay.
Exactly, exactly, and I'm excited to be here. And give me 1 second here. Let me get my other stuff here connected. I was trying to have my additional fire behind me. Give me 1 second here, guys. Just filibuster for a minute here, if you don't mind, T. Gray.
Uh, we already met Phil and Buster. You're talking about filibuster. We're on here telling stories, man. I just told the story about our first event when you were throwing people in the pool and you broke your arm.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it took 2.5, 3 years to recover from that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I remember that very, very, very well. I do.
Yeah, man. What a day that was. And I was telling people how, I was kind of watching from the other side of the pool. I'm like, this is not gonna end well.
Yeah.
And then when you picked up that dude who shall remain nameless.
He
Uh,
was you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, he was about 400 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why did you guys?
And that was before he got in the water.
Right. So like, why did you guys? I've been wanting to ask you this. Why did y'all grab him?
Because we were doing a challenge, okay, and the challenge was anybody that would go, anybody that was going to go diamond.
Mhm.
And we did the diamond challenge. We were having some fun and said, hey, listen, if you're going to go diamond, are you, if you're going diamond, let me know if you're going diamond. And so if you were going diamond, we throw you in the water as your commitment to going diamond. Well, he tore my bicep, tore my rotator cuff, and never went diamond.
And never went down.
Yeah. So it was it was one of those things that you just kind of regret a little bit, that like, man, I messed up my arm for a guy who didn't even go down.
Did Vita say what I think she said? She said he didn't go diamond, he went donut.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my
Vita V
God.
Dubs. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man.
Oh my God. That's
Oh my
Vita.
Vita, thank you, Vita, for that. Oh my, you made my stomach hurt. You made my stomach hurt, Vita. Bonnie said they were being baptized into diamond. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. I love it. I absolutely love it. All
There
right.
we
There go.
Okay,
So I
good.
got my fire in the background too.
All righty. Good job.
It was trying to
job.
reset. It was supposed to be ready, but I think we're ready now. So
All right.
HB is on fire. There we go.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Well,
So
you know what, HB?
Okay.
The floor is yours, sir.
the floor is
Okay.
mine. You know
Yep.
what? I shall take the floor. Yes,
You
indeed.
take the floor?
Yep.
All right.
So
Excellent.
today, ladies and gentlemen, I want, if there's something that I say today, throughout today's flight school, throughout today's training, if there's something that I'm going to say today, what I want is we want fire emojis. No other emojis except fire emojis right now. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're gonna break a record on Zoom here for the most number of fire emojis. And obviously, like I said, we've got the perpetual fireplace going. And I want to make sure that my fireplace, it looks like it should be burning. Is it burning? Let's see here. Let's make sure it's burning before we get started. Should be on plate. It should be burning. I wanted a live fireplace. I'm gonna do a live fireplace here. That was not right. Let's go with this one here. It should be 10 hours long. And that should be, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we've got the fireplace rocking here. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys, I am excited to be here.
Your hair's on fire.
What did you say?
Your hair's on fire.
Exactly. Listen, guys. It's been too long, obviously, since I've been here on flight school. And anytime me not being on flight school is too long. So whether it's 2 weeks or 2 months, or whatever it is, it's always too long. But obviously, glad to always be back. And I always want to say hats off to Mark and T. Gray for holding down the fort. And I don't even know if T. Gray's back in the state yet. I know T. Gray went out and had some family time, which is really good. But no matter where he is in the world, are you back in Houston yet? Or are you still out?
Nope, I'm still here.
He's still out. So that means that no matter where he goes, the commitment to being there on flight school is always there. I know Mark just got back as well from a trip on the West Coast, made it back in, and right here on flight school. And so it's always great. So give those guys some fire emojis for always setting the tone of commitment and continuity. I appreciate that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's kind of get in today. Let's kind of get rocking and rolling today. My plan was to start right at 8:30. It's 8:31 right now. And so we will have the hour of fire here, the power hour of fire. There is a lot of really good things that are actually taking place in Ibüümerang, in our company. We had a chance to meet with our Emeralds and Above on 2 days ago, and we gave them a little, a little glimpse into the future of Ibüümerang, where our company is going, where we are right now, but more importantly, where we're going. The future of where we're going is what's most important, and we talked about that and laid out some things. So don't go ask them all of the secrets. They're not going to tell you everything. All I can say is that the future is so bright. You really do need your blue blockers, your sunglasses, if you remember blue blockers. But we're really excited about some of those things that are actually going to be taking place. In January is really going to kick off one of the online events that we will do in January. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But one of the online events that we'll do will actually start the process of all of the things that we have developing right now. We're going to make sure that you guys are aware of them. You'll be a part of the launch and the growth of all of what we'll be doing in our company. But I can tell you this, that is exciting. Our company there's some transformation that's taking place, which is a great thing, and moving forward with our company. And there's just a lot of benefit and a lot of lives that are actually going to be transformed. And when you see exactly who we are and what we'll be doing in the coming future here. I want to talk specifically and give you guys some strategy today. I want to talk to you and really set you up so that you really understand how to position yourself, how to position yourself in business, and how to position yourself from a perspective so that you are able to really, really take advantage of everything that is here and everything that is to come, okay? The first thing I want to tell you is that the future does not guarantee any success. That's not a disclaimer. This is a training point. The reason I say that is that sometimes people, they look so far into the future. And one of the reasons that we look so far in the future is because the future has zero accountability. It is always easy to talk about what you will do in the future, or I can't wait for this to come. And when you can't wait for something to come and you've got, you're so excited that we get so passionate about something that has not happened yet. And the reason being is because no one for that period of time can hold you accountable from today until tomorrow. Now, especially when I say January, right? Nobody can hold you accountable. There's no recording, or there's no report card of success, and there's no report card of failure. And typically when people want to change, they always future their goals and talk about what's going to happen way out. And what happens is we have a false sense of security or a false sense of accomplishment, because in our minds, we see that it can happen. We see the possibility of it happening. But what happens is there's some things that must take place called action steps in order for the future to line up with your current vision. There's an order. There's some activity and some action steps that must take place. Those action steps basically are action steps of accountability. All right. So if you're saying to yourself, you know, by January or by June of next year, I am going to be a diamond, I would say that the dopamine effect that you get, or the serotonin that you receive, all of those energies that you actually receive when you start talking about the future, it is genuine, true excitement. It is real, it's genuine, and it's true. There's some of us who know good and well that we're not going to do anything. And that's just normal. That's going to be a small group of people that know, you know what, I'm just excited for the moment, but I know for a fact I'm not going to do anything. There's a reason and there's a methodology of how you go from knowing that you're not going to do anything to being able to remove those blocks. There's certain blocks that we have that keep us from being able to do the things that we say. Today is not going to be a training on how to remove those blocks. I'm not going to get into how to remove those blocks, but there are blockages that we have. Most of us are so well intended, but here's the thing that I want you to know, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'll repeat that. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Everyone, I'd say most people are well intended. Okay? They're well intended, right? They're just not well directed. And what do I mean by that? I believe that the majority of the things that happen in our lives that are bad, people don't have the intention to make those things happen. How many of us have seen accidents, car accidents, or whatever? That's the reason why we call it accident, because the number of tragedies that take place from accident means that it was not intended. But I want you to look at the other side of the accident, or those who were victims of the accident, or those who have to pay the consequences or suffer the loss. Those people don't care about intentions. They only care about the result. They only care about the result. A person who's a drunk driver and who's irresponsible, they don't wake up that day and say, you know what, I didn't wake up today and plan that I was going to go out tonight, have way too many drinks, get in my car, and hit somebody's animal. So they didn't intend to do it, but at the end of the day, somebody's animal has been injured. And if somebody's animal is injured, it still happened because this person was not well directed. So what I want to talk to you about is the intention. I want to talk to you about being able to be in charge of your own intentions as you start the process of building the business. As I mentioned, that there's no accountability in the future, but what we're going to do is we're going to share with you how to be accountable. What I'm going to lay out for you is a process of how you can accomplish your goals here at Ibüümerang, but you can apply this to almost anything that you're doing in life. Almost anything that you're doing in life. Number one, I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about the number one corporation that you will always run. You've heard me talk about this before, but there's a company that all of us are a part of. This company is called Ibüümerang. The purpose of Ibüümerang, let me share with you the purpose of Ibüümerang. The purpose of Ibüümerang is to supply a product or service, okay, or services or products, whatever that may be, so that ambassadors, you, have an opportunity to distribute those products and services to end user customers and be able to use them yourself. One of the services that we also distribute is the opportunity. That is one of the products, opportunity itself. The opportunity, that's a wholesale product. We sell the opportunity and we sell the products, okay? We sell the opportunity. And what do I mean by we sell the opportunity? There's an exchange for the cost of the opportunity. There's an exchange for money. So when a person gets involved in our company, it's not free to join Ibüümerang. The cost of the opportunity, all right, is very minimal. I think it's $99 in terms of the cost of the opportunity. And then people actually buy the products that we have, either wholesale, and then we have the opportunity to market those products at retail. That's one company that we run and that we are part of. And I'm going to break it down so that you really have a very clear vision as to how to use your intention, how to establish accountability, and how to achieve a result in the company called Ibüümerang. In network marketing, the thing I want to share with you is that one of the reasons and the causes for people not to succeed is not because the company is not great. It's not because the products aren't great. It's not because compensation plan is not great. One of them is that people are not well directed. And when you're not well directed, it also means that you lack discipline. Okay, it means that you lack discipline. One of the things I can share with you is that when I started my quest to become successful, it wasn't based on network marketing. It was truly based on becoming successful. Network marketing happened to be one of the vehicle that I actually used to become successful. That's what it was. It was network marketing. I decided I was going to use network marketing. Some people use a law degree. Some people use a medical degree. Some people have used construction. Some people have used real estate. Some people have used the financial industry. Some people have taken the educational route and become school teachers. And that became their vehicle for being able to be successful or earn money. And so what I want you to understand is I want you to understand the place of Ibüümerang as a company. The place of Ibüümerang as a company is the tool that you will be able to use. And as long as the product is there, as long as the service is there, and remember, you are the distributor. So what is it that you're distributing? That's why we call it network marketing. I'm giving you what I call the one-on-one course before I get into the how-to of doing this. All right. You are a distributor. And one of the ways to maximize your results as a distributor is to become well-directed. All right. That's why one of the first ranks that we have is called director. All right. Director. Senior director. That means that you are moving in the right direction. Okay. Executive director. That means that you're moving in the right direction. At first, you're an ambassador. An ambassador means that you actually champion the cause of a particular purpose. What are you championing the cause of? You're championing the cause of Ibüümerang from the beginning. Ibüümerang. Let's break it down so that you understand what you actually have and why are you in this company. Ibüümerang. Why did I name the company Ibüümerang? Let's just go from the very beginning, from the genesis of the thought process to where we are and to where we're going. In the very beginning, I started Ibüümerang as a company that would allow me to do what I wanted to do best. And that was, I wanted to give back. People at that time would always ask me, Holton, where's your book? Do you have a book? Have you put out a book? And my answer was no. And I told myself a bunch of lies, and I've actually been lying to myself and telling myself these particular lies and stories that prevented me from writing my first book. And one of the biggest lies I told myself was how slow of a reader I am. That's the truth, but that's the reason I didn't. I'm like, yeah, listen, if I wrote a book, it'd take me 6 years to read my own book, okay? But nevertheless, I should have had 3 or 4 books by now, okay? I should have had 3 to 4 books by now. But it was just one of the lies that I told myself. And what happened is this here, as I started building my organization through network marketing, there was a period of time that I actually became a little bit stagnant in the fulfillment of my purpose through the vehicle. I was stagnant. And that's an equation or phrase for a better word that I would use, as some people call it depressed. I don't believe in being depressed, okay? But some people call it depression. It was almost that state of just not feeling that I found my purpose or that I couldn't achieve my purpose. I knew what my purpose was, but I couldn't achieve it. I was working with an owner and partners that that didn't want as big of an opportunity as I wanted. And so there was no, I couldn't fulfill my vision. And so it kept me in this particular state for a while. And what I realized is that how did I get my happy back? I got my happy back by going out and giving the thing that I wanted most. I wanted to be excited. I wanted to be purpose. I wanted to feel a sense of excitement. And so what I did is I started making sure that I made an impact in the lives of people every single day. There was not a day that would go by that I wouldn't find a way to make an impact for a person. And the key was those people couldn't know for a fact that in most cases, they couldn't know that it was me. I wasn't doing it for recognition. But what I realized, the universe works like this, is that you can't outgive the giver. And so I recognize that the universe allows you to sow seeds. You go out and you give goodwill, and goodwill invariably comes back. So when I found an idea, and I found our travel product, our iGo product, and I thought about what my next steps were, it was to start a company that I would be able to give back. And I built everything around the concept of giving back. So I named the company Ibüümerang. When you think about the concept of throwing a boomerang out, what happens when you properly throw the boomerang? It comes back to you. So our whole concept was being able to give goodwill. So this is why when we start Ibüümerang, the first thing that we do is we would give away what we call boomerangs to customers. Customers were able to actually go out, get a free website, cost them nothing. And those customers actually would buy their travel on their own website. They had access to up to 35% discount. And every single time they saved $1, our ambassadors would actually earn 50 cents. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand. That alone is a huge opportunity by itself. If we had nothing else, because we didn't have anything else in our company for the first year and a half, and we did millions and millions of dollars of revenue in our company, tens of millions of dollars of revenue in our company with just that product alone in the travel industry. The reason where we are now is obviously we encountered something called COVID, which shut down travel. It shut down everything from a standpoint of of people being able to go out. And so we pivoted and we started bringing other products. But when you think about the name Ibüümerang, that concept of Ibüümerang, so Ibüümerang could actually be the name, and it can also be a verb. It's an action. When people ask me, what do? Ibüümerang. That simply means I give goodwill, and good things always come back to me. It's just how I live. It's been the idea, it's been the framework, it's a philosophy. Ibüümerang, it's just what I do. I wish you developed the concept of Ibüümerang, okay? And that's just nothing more than giving goodwill. So from an ambassador standpoint, that's what we do, and that's who we are, all right? So just think about it. Some of you probably have no idea you even have iGo in our company. That alone, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he called me up and wanted some consulting on a new company that they're about to launch in network marketing. And I'm asking them, okay, well, what is it? Travel. What are y'all doing? Oh, just travel. And they're all excited, as if traveling is the very first time, that right now is the very first time people have been able to travel. But what happens is sometimes when you have access to something, you take it for granted. Why? Because it's right there. I'll give you an example, okay? Some people, and I want you to relate this to yourself. Many of you have homes, or wherever it is that you live, your flat, your apartment, or your condo, whatever it is. Most of you have some piece of art in your house that you were proud of when you actually put it in there. You found this space that you had in your home, and it was empty, and you didn't think much about it whatsoever. And you didn't think much about it, but until you filled that particular space in the house, and you went and found a piece of art, and it may have taken you 6 weeks, 6 months, or maybe even a year or two to find the right piece. And what happens is you went out, you did the shopping, you found out, and some of you maybe took shorter periods of time, but you found that piece of art. And if you can remember the day that you hung that piece of art, You hung that piece of art, and the same day that you hung it, you came back and you looked to see, is it straight? Making sure that it's all level, and you step back and you look at it, and you're in awe about that piece of art. It has nothing to do with how expensive it is. You could have gotten it from a flea market. It could have been something that somebody gave you. It could have been something that you went and bought and spent hundreds of dollars, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on. It doesn't matter the amount, but it was something that was important to you. You filled a piece of a void, of a space aesthetically in your presence with a piece of art. And you looked at it and you admired it. And that day you looked at it probably 50 or 100 times before you went to bed. You made sure you walked right by and looked at that piece of art. And you were thinking about how happy it made you. You were thinking about all of the emotions that came with that piece of art. And that's the purpose of art, is to connect with our emotions to a different place. It's to make us feel an emotional drive. And what happens is this: the first time you had visitors to come over, you would have those visitors to come over to the house, and they look at that piece of art, and you tell them about the art, and it becomes a conversation piece. And for the first 3, 4, 5 weeks, that art is so important. 8 weeks later, you walk in, you just cut your eye, and you saw the art, you noticed it, and you walk right past it. 12 weeks, you walk by and you don't even cut your eye at it. Your peripheral knows the art is there. You know what the art looks like. But here's what happens: a year later on, you walk in the house, you don't even notice the art. You couldn't even describe the art. If somebody says, when you walk in the house, what do you have at the right side of the foyer or in your entry? Can you describe the art? What's the colors? Tell me a little bit about the frame. What does the frame look like? You couldn't even do it. You couldn't even do it. And to prove it to you, I'll take all of you right now through an exercise. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to be honest right now. We're going to go through an exercise right now, and I'm going to show you how to maximize opportunity. We're going to go through an exercise. Most of you are at home right now. What I need you to do is I need you to put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back right now. All of you. Don't look at your hands. Put them behind your back. Remember, I can't check to see whether or not, there's no accountability. Only you can actually do this exercise and understand what I'm talking about by being truthful. Those of you who have a watch on, okay, if you have a watch on, what I want you to do is take your hand that you don't have your watch on, and in the chat, I want you to put a 1 emoji. Just put a 1. No, put a fire emoji. I'm sorry. Put that fire emoji in there if you have a watch on. Okay, right now. Put a fire emoji in there if you got a watch. The other hand that has the watch on should be behind your back. Okay. Now, I know it's early in the morning for some of you, so many of you may not have a watch on right now. But what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions right now. I'm going to ask you right now, on your watch, I want you to describe your watch to yourself. I want you to describe on your watch, the face of your watch. Is it round? Is it square? Answer these questions. Not in the chat, but answer them to yourself. On that watch, do you have Roman numerals for your numbers? Do you have regular numbers? Do you have dashes? Do you have all 12 numbers? Do you have on your markers, do you have all 12 numbers? Do you only have markers on the 1, 3, 9, 1, 3, 6, 9, and 12? What color is the face of the watch that you have on right now? Okay. And now what I want you to do is I want you to take your watch hand and I want you to look at your watch. And if you got it wrong, I want you to put a fire in the chat. I do this all over the world when I talk to people, showing them that so much that we have on us that that you're carrying your watch with you. It's on your hand right now. Look at all these fires in the chat of the people who got it wrong. It's with you. You knew how that watch looked when you bought it. The reason you put it on is because it's one of your favorite things that you have. But you're so close to it that you take it for granted and you don't recognize it. And the only time that you would actually appreciate that watch is when you didn't have it anymore. You lost that watch, somebody took it from you, you misplaced it. You go crazy over that watch. But many of us have the watch on our wrist. We have it on our wrist. You wear it every single day, and you have no idea what's on your wrist. No idea. And that's what happens with opportunities so much. And so that's the way I describe our travel. If we had nothing else, and we do, and we will have more, but if we had nothing else, if you only built the travel portion, the IGO portion of our business, the value of the IGO in our business, a person in this right now who's on this Zoom, you could actually build $1 million a year income. You could build a multi-million-dollar a year income. You can build $1 million a month income. And I know for a fact you can build $1 million a week income if we said, you know what, we're not going to allow our ambassadors to sell anything else except the travel alone, except IGO. Okay? We know how big the travel industry is, the trillions of dollars that's in travel. We know how big it is. People do it, and we've got a service that everybody wants, and you can't get any better than free. You can't. We're the first company to ever do it, and everybody else is now trying to duplicate what it was that we did because of how sexy we made the travel industry. But what happens is this: familiarity breeds contempt. Something that is so familiar, the piece of art. I look behind me right now and I look at this wall that I was so excited about. I've got this art wall that I made myself. I made it a point not to get weary and well-doing. I've got a piece of art that when you walk into my house from the very beginning, it describes what network marketing actually is. And and I tell people the story every time they come to the house. Why? Because I wanted to make sure that I never forgot it. This wall, for me, was a piece of art. I take it for granted. People come in and they ooh and they ah, and I'll show it to you what I'm talking about. This is a marble wall that I have at the house, and if you see how high it goes all the way up 25 feet to the ceiling. 25 feet to the ceiling, this marble wall. I look at it every single day. And every single day, I take it for granted. Why? Because I see it every day. And what happens is this, and in the minds of distributors and in the minds of most people, the habits that we have, remember, this is not being this is not means that you have poor intentions. It just means that you're not well-directed in your pursuit. And so what happens is this, is that we see the wall, we see the opportunity, and we only get excited when we see something else. Show me another wall that's even smaller than mine. I'll get so fired up because why? The color is a little different. Maybe it's made out of a different type of material or whatever it is. But I've got one of the biggest fireplace walls that I've seen ever in life. And I don't even get excited about it anymore. I've got the largest front door in the United States. The single door is the largest front door that's ever been built for a home, single door. And I get excited about it when other people come in and tell me about the door. But I walk into the door, it's normal. That front door costs more than my previous home, just the door alone. I'm not talking to you here bragging about the door. I'm sharing with you what my experience is of how we take things for granted. And so the first thing that you have to do is you're going to have to run You Incorporated. You Incorporated is the second company that I'm mentioning, but it's the most important company that you will actually run. It is you. If you don't know how to run you, and you don't know what it is that you have as a company, you will never, ever be able to succeed. What will happen is this: other opportunities will always look better. Other opportunities will always look greater. Other things will look flashier. Somebody else's fire is going to look hotter. Okay? I've got the longest fireplace that I've seen personally in a home. On my pool, I've got the biggest fire pit that I've ever seen. Everything I wanted to make sure I had the biggest. Why? But because that was me. It was feeding, if it was feeding my ego or my desire, that's it. It was my house. It didn't matter. But they come alive only when somebody else is talking about it. From an opportunity, now from a materialistic standpoint, that's not important to me. Why? Because I don't use my home. I don't use my fire pit to make money. But when it comes to opportunity, remember, how we do anything is how we do everything. So I'm sharing this with you so that you'll understand. Here's the pattern that most of us have. And this is why sometimes we don't or are not able to move on and become successful. Some of you, you know what it will take for some of us, for somebody to join your organization, see the opportunity much bigger than you. They're in depth, they go out, they go sapphire in the first month, and then you will get re-excited. That's why the fire burns up. Fire doesn't burn down. This is why your organization doesn't care about how much money you make. Why? Because they don't get any heat from how much money you make. Why? Your fire burns up. Your fire burns up. This is why I always teach you to build in depth. This is why the reason of having a binary structure in our compensation plan that I'm going to get to in a moment. Why? Because as you start to place people down, the fire burns up and those people get excited. And so it takes sometimes somebody else externally who have an idea or see the value of what you have to tell you and to remind you of how great you have it. Okay? To remind you of how great you have it. But I want you as an entrepreneur to not have that thought process. As an entrepreneur, I want you to value what it is that you have in your business so that nobody else needs to come and tell you how great your business is. Nobody should have to come and tell you how awesome your sponsor is. See, if your sponsor sponsored 12 new people, 3 of those people went sapphire in the first month, ruby within the next month, and diamond in 90 days, and they all give credit to your sponsor, then you would come back asking your sponsor, hey, listen, can I get some of your time? Well, that's the same person who's been there the last 6 months. It's just that you take them for granted. Why? Because you're not well directed. You're not well directed. Okay? You're not. And so you move from ambassador of Ibüümerang to director. Why? That means that you're directed. It means that you are now accountable for your intentions to happen. I'm bringing all of this back full circle. So in the middle, I just using an example so that you'll understand accountability. Accountability. And taking things for granted. All right? The only time we value things is when we lose them. For many of us. But that's going to change for you. That's not going to be your story anymore. Take a look at what it is that you have as a business. We also have our Elevate platform. Obviously, our Elevate platform allows us to be able to teach and learn the art of taking our money and putting overalls on our money so that when we put overalls on our money, it goes out and works for us. We take our money and let it come back with friends. That's the whole premise behind what it is that we do with Elevate. That alone is a very solid business. You heard today, and I think I saw T. Gray and Mark talking about one of the elements that we have called Trade Buddy. Some of you look at Trade Buddy and you say, oh, it's too expensive. Really? Now, here's what I could tell you. I could bring a guest speaker onto our call. I could bring a guest speaker onto our call, somebody you've never heard of, and I'm going to prove, I can prove the point because our mind works the same. Most of you, Trade Buddy is your watch. You have no idea how it works, when it works. You were excited about it when the announcement came because it was new. Trade Buddy is your wall. It's your piece of art. But I could bring an outside expert that you don't know of, edify them, and let them and bring them on to one particular call. And let them tell you that they've got a technology that is so incredible that has made them millions of dollars. And all they've got to do is repackage, never say the name Trade Buddy, but it can actually be Trade Buddy that they're using, and they can sell that particular technology. This is a one-time offer that they make and sell it for $1,000 a month, and 80% of you will buy it. 80% of you will buy it. Okay? They can sell it for $2,000 a month. They can sell it for $3,000 a month, and 80% of you will buy it. It's true. Okay? I'll give you an example of what I mean. All right? And when it comes to philosophies and success, it's all the same. Many of you probably saw some webinars and events that I have done that's outside of the name of Ibüümerang, okay? Do you know I have more people interested in paying me $5,000 for what I give to you guys for free? Yeah. Even my buddy Jake called me up and says, hey, HB, should I be promoting the webinar? No. Should I promote it to the group? No. Promote flight school. I'm not making an offer on flight school that cost any money. The only thing I'll do on flight school is, if we have guests on here, is offer the opportunity. They can get started for $100 or up to $1,300, whatever our CEO pack costs. But the enthusiasm, not necessarily from Jake, but the enthusiasm from other people is, HB's got something new I want to buy. It's the same stuff I give to people for free, to give to my team for free. But again, oh, it's just HB. HB is my watch. I know what HB is going to say even before he says it. It's not valuable. But if I repackage it, show you a whole new background, don't give you the fire, but give you a whole different logo, take the Ibüümerang off, use some other different words, bring some other people that you've never seen before, all of a sudden it's worth more. It's the same stuff. I don't want to make money from you. You are my family. You guys are, we are family here. Let me give you an example. All right. When it comes time, if I owned a restaurant, and my mom and my dad came to my restaurant, you think I'm going to charge my mom and dad? No, they're family. My son comes. I'm not charging my son. Outside people have to pay. You guys are my family. It's the same stuff. I'm encouraging you, don't buy it. I don't need your money. But I understand the value of it. So outsiders who want to pay for it, because of the value that's presented, they'll buy it. You get it for free. You get it with your subscription. Your $2.99 that you pay for Trade Buddy. See, you look at it, say it's too expensive, but you got access to $1 million mentorship. Give me a fire emoji on that. Come on, guys. Okay? I'll shorten this Zoom real quick. $2.99, you get access to be in my room. So what I'm telling you is this, is that number one, you've got to start learning how to assess your opportunities and value them. Don't let me bring somebody else, an expert, that comes in here with a whole different accent, because the accent sounds so interesting. We show you their bio. They can't trade their way out of a paper bag, but they come on, we edify them, and they come on and talk about how awesome a technology that they have. And hey, listen, we're going to make it available to the Elevate group for $3,000 a month. And I'm making about $25,000 to $30,000 a month off of this, but we're going to make it available to you. And they show you exactly how to use what you already have. Not 80% of you will buy it. You buy it. So what I'm telling you is, don't allow Ibüümerang, don't allow Elevate, don't allow iGo to become your watch. Don't do that. Learn the value of what it is that you have, and stop allowing somebody else to come and validate the value of what you currently have. It's the idea of, people want the thing that gets taken away from them. They want the thing that's not so accessible to them. They want the exclusivity. And so I want you to start understanding value, understanding what it is that you have. Every time I get on the camera, I'm going to train my daylights out. Why? You're family. You're going to get the best of what HB has. HB's not saving this, so saving the best. Okay, well, you know what? He's charging these people here this XYZ, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm going to give it to you as authentic and real. You just got to understand how to value and become a great director. Okay? So now, let's go ahead and move on and talk about, let's move through this so that we understand. The first thing that you must do, as I talked about, is you must start to understand who you are and what it is that you have. You've got to be able to run You Incorporated, You Inc. You Inc. That is this right here. This is the biggest corporation that you will ever be the CEO of. This company right here. And because you're the CEO of that company, you are going to have to learn how to operate and manage this company right here first. If you don't know how to manage this one, anything else that you do won't succeed. That means your Ibüümerang business is not going to succeed. Do so to everyone. Remember, what I told you is the reason that most people don't succeed in network marketing is lack of discipline, lack of self-direction. Had to go to a commercial break. Okay? Lack of discipline, lack of self-direction. Okay? And what we're not going to do is we're not going to fall into that trap moving, from today, not to just the next year, but starting from today, we're going to move into where we're supposed to be as an organization, or where we're supposed to be as You Inc. Where you're supposed to be as You Inc. You're going to move into a whole new who you are, who it is that you are, okay? And you are a focused ambassador moving towards being a director. And if you've already hit director, and moving up the ladder of direction. That's what we do, and that's who you are, okay? So now that you understand that, if you understand that, put some fires in the emoji. And I want to make sure that we help understand the foundation of who we are, because if you don't understand how you're going to utilize this, what I'm going to talk about next, I'm going to give you 3 steps. I'm going to talk about 3 particular steps that you're going to need to use in order to build. Let me get my water here. Okay. So the first step I'm going to talk to you about is called the learning step, the learning phase. Learn, okay? Learn. Now that you have your business, you understand, okay, here's the philosophy. How many of you now, how many of you, let me ask you a question. How many of you feel a little bit different about the intention of your company now that you know why Ibüümerang was started? Does it resonate a little bit more with you when you go out and talk to people to know, here is why this man started this company? I didn't start Ibüümerang as a way to say, hey, listen, I need to make some money, so let's, T. Gray, put all of this stuff here together. Mark, put all of this here together, and I need you to make all of these calls so we can go ahead and start a company. Okay. No, that's not what we, put the first one up only, please. Only the first one. Learn. Only the first one. There we go. Okay. And so the thing I want you understanding is from the beginning, the story that you tell when you're talking to people, you're trying to close people on sales skills. It's why you don't have longevity. Okay. Later on, when we do some other things, I'll share with you. Okay. I'll share with you how to operate so that you're able to build a sense of loyalty with a consumer base. If you're finding yourself getting people into the business and those people leaving the business quickly, there's a reason. Okay. There's a reason. And typically when that happens, most people want to assign blame to something other than what they did. The genesis of how you get a company started, how you get a person started, the beginning of how you get a person started is connected to the longevity of them being involved in the company. Okay? It's connected to the longevity. If they don't start and understand there's a purpose behind it, then there's no reason for loyalty. All right. I won't take you through this now, but there's three phases of communication, or actually 4. It's called the lie, the truth, transparency, and vulnerability. If you lie to a customer, you know what? They won't like you. If you tell them the truth only, they'll have buyer's remorse. If you're transparent, you'll build a relationship. If you're vulnerable with the customer, you'll build loyalty. Most of us, what we do is we use the tricks of the trade to slam people into the business. Hey, HB, can I get you on the call so you can close this person? You become a salesperson, and from a sales perspective, what you're doing is trying to sell them. Why? The salesperson thinks about themselves. 80% of the communication is about what benefit the sales guy is going to get. The transparent person, it goes about 60% to my 60 to 70% to my prospect, 30 to 40% my benefit. The vulnerable person is really about 95% about the customer. And what I'm telling you is that there's a connection, there is a vibration that's connected to vulnerability when I talk to people. So the reason why my friendships, true friendships, last is because I'm vulnerable. I am not your friend for what I'm going to get. And so I present myself in that fashion so that loyalty is transcendent, because I know this man doesn't want anything from me. I know this man has only wanted the best for me. When I'm offering my product, I don't care whether a person buys or not. I am not a sales guy. I am great at sales. I am great at communicating. Remember, sales is being present and the art of communicating benefits to somebody who has a need. How you do that is called sales. I am excellent at sales. And the reason I'm excellent at sales is because I don't sell people. To somebody who has I am excellent at sales, at S-A-L-E-S. The reason I'm excellent at S-A-L-E-S is because I don't S-E-L-L. You get it? I am great at sales because I don't sell. I hope you understand this. And I see so many of you make the mistakes. How you do that is called sales. I am excellent at sales. And the reason I'm excellent at sales is because I've got this, I've got a replay in the background. I am excellent at sales. There we go. And I want you to understand that that's not the way to build a business. The way to build a business is anybody who's on your list, you should know, what do I have of value that I could offer to you if I do an assessment of what your needs, desires, and goals are, and can I trade the value of what it is that I have to you so that you understand the value? And if I do it from a lying basis, you're going to hate me. You're going to regret. If I do it from just a truth basis alone, and I'm not going to explain all the difference between us, truth alone, then what's going to happen is you'll have buyer's remorse. All right. And if I do it from a transparent basis, I'll build a friendship, a relationship with you. But if I do it from a vulnerable place, I will have loyalty. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back and I want you to measure the people that you brought into the business and what stage did you get them in on? Did you lie to them? Did you tell them you were making more money than you were making? Did you tell them that just because you joined Ibüümerang or you join iGo that you're always going to save 70% of your travel? See, telling them the truth is, yeah, I save 70% on my travel. They ask, did you save 70%? Yep, that's true. Transparent is, yeah, I save 70% on my travel. But there's other times, that it was less than 70%. Vulnerability is, hey, not only did I save 70% on my travel, but there have been times that there was no savings whatsoever. But what the company will do if there's no savings available, the company will actually compensate you in the form of points. And if they were more expensive, what we'll do is we'll take the difference and we'll give you 10% plus the difference. But not 100% of the time are you ever going to find a savings, specifically not 70%. See, now that customer knows, you know what, I can rely on this person. But if you just tell the truth and now the person comes in and they find something that's only 20% savings, they're now questioning you. Buyer's remorse that they have. If you lied to them, They're going to regret that they ever got involved. And that's why they're going to, cancel their membership. I want you to do an asset check. I want you to do something and say, hey, listen, on 1, 2, 3, 4, how am I communicating to my customers? Okay. How am I communicating with my customers? And find out why your team is where it is. Find out why instead of, I'm gonna blame the company doesn't have their stuff together. You can blame the company, or you can take action. I was a part of a company who had no customer service. I was a part of a company that you couldn't make a phone call or communicate with anybody. You know what I did? When I recruited people, they asked me, what's the phone number for customer service? And I asked them, what's your phone number? And they give it to me, and they say, okay, well, what's the phone number for customer service? And I'd say, what's your phone number? And they give it to me again. And they say, yeah, but I want customer service's phone number. And I'd say, what's your phone number? Oh, I get it. You are customer service. And it was very, very vulnerable with them as to where we were as a company and what they can depend on and what they couldn't depend on. That's going to be you. All right. So understand what it is that you have. The first thing you're learning. Learning is what? Knowledge. You're going to learn knowledge. The knowledge about your company and your offering. How many of you know enough about iGo to make the offering? Or how many of you are still right now at only level 2? Maybe you're not at the bottom. None of you on here should be lying, but maybe you're only at the bottom of communications. That's number 2. And that means that what you're doing is you're only going to go sell people the truth. Your benefit is to make sure that you can make a commission. So I'm thinking about me, how much money I can make, and I'm looking at these people. These are not relationships that I could develop for future. These are targets. I used to be that way. I would go out in the shopping malls with my spear and see a person who's sharp, looks sharp and ambitious, and I'd take out my spear and I would go jab, and that jab was me walking up to them to contact them, because all I was thinking about was building my business. And this is why for 7 years, you guys wonder, why didn't this guy make more than $500 a month for 7 years? It's because I had a spear and they were my target. And I learned that from my upline, and I thought that was the only way. He didn't have the intentions of teaching me the wrong habit. I was just the right student who is so formidable to an authority figure. I'm the type, if you're an authority figure and I respect you and you tell me to do something, I'm going to do that plus 10 times more. So when I saw him, and that's how he was building a business, he taught me, I walked out with him, and the next thing you know, all of these targets, I made sure I carried about 15 spears every day. I woke up in the morning, 15, make sure I'm full of spears. Got me one. Bag them up, got me one. And then I'm calling these people to try to invite them to the meeting, but that energy transfer, when they left me, they felt the slime factor. That was a little yucky when they thought about it. In the moment, they were cool. In the moment, why? I was a good salesperson, and I was SELLING, selling. But I wasn't good at sales because I was selling. To become great at sales, don't sell. Those who are great at selling are not good at sales. And that's what I did. And I didn't have a knowledge base. I didn't understand their values. I wasn't thinking about their family. I wasn't thinking about what they wanted. I didn't think about what they needed. I didn't listen to them to listen. I listened so I can say my next script or my next question. Hey, how you doing, man? You look like a guy who was at my opportunity meeting last night. This was my script. I live a scripted life. Hey, you look like a guy who was at my opportunity meeting last night. What's your name? My name's Holton. Boom. What do you mean opportunity meeting? Oh, you know what, man? I teach and train people how to develop 6- and 7-figure incomes. And I was actually in the area last night. We had a meeting, and I thought you were one of the guys who was there. Wow, that's what you do? Yeah. Who do you do it for? Oh, I do it for professionals and non-professionals. Matter of fact, I'm here in the area. We're expanding right now. Do you know anybody who would be open to such course? My next market is Chicago. I'll be headed over there, but obviously we're developing the Houston market right now. You know what they'd say? I sold them on giving me their phone number. Why? I wanted a contact. It was like hunting. I speared them. I got them. I bagged them. I took their information home. I put it in my pocket. It was like taking what I had caught from hunting, carrying it home with me, looking at it once I got home, making the phone calls, setting up an opportunity meeting. I didn't build any connection with those people. And even those who got involved in the business, I went from salesperson to salesperson to salesperson to salesperson to salesperson, and they get in and they fall out, and I would blame the comp plan, and I would blame my upline, and I would blame that my diamond at that time, the presentation was too long. I'd find something else to blame outside of taking personal responsibility because I really didn't care I didn't even understand that I should care about them. And when I start to learn the art form of being able to care about those people, when I start to learn the art form of when I asked them their name, how important it was for them to hear their name repeated back to them properly, when I started to understand that these people had kids and these people had parents and these people had dreams and goals and these people have been disappointed and things that happened in these people's lives that they wanted security and they wanted more for their families. And I was the person who actually could deliver that nobody else was knocking on their door, offering an opportunity. That's when I understood and took inventory of what it was that I had in my hand. That's when the magic started happening for me. But when I stayed as a rookie, selling people, convincing, having a scripted life, thinking that my script was going to change the game for me and my script was going to make me so much money, I worked my ass off. There was nobody who was outworking me, but also there was nobody who was out scripting me. And that's why when people join, they quit or they didn't join at all. Some of you have ever heard me before when I actually did my red jacket training. People always send me a note. I get at least 50 messages from people that are not even building with me. I get at least 50 of these that people remind me of. They said, man, they send me a text message arbitrarily. This is one thing I'll never forget that you said, that you can outwork me, you can out-teach me, you can out-train me, but HB said that you'll never out-friend me. And this is why I say, if you want to build a diamond ship, build a friendship. Build a friendship. Now, this doesn't mean that we're all going to go hold hands as friends, sing kumbaya, and diamond's going to start dropping in your organization. No, you're going to have to do some work. Okay. But my friendship to you has nothing to do with your lack of friendship to me. My friendship is not about you. My friendship is about who I am. Who is it that HB is? You can do me wrong. I'm not going to go over and beyond, but I'm not going to get out of character because you did me wrong. Because it's a representation of who I am. And I still live by that philosophy today. You're not going to outfriend HB. Okay? That's my philosophy. And so start understanding who your prospect is. This is part of the learning phase. What other phases of knowledge? Remember, there's three types of knowledge that you're going to gain. The first type of knowledge is going to be learned knowledge. That's under the learning phase. Learned knowledge. Learned knowledge is when you're in a seat like you are right now and somebody is actually teaching you. I am teaching you right now. The information that I'm sharing with you right now, this is not just about Ibüümerang. If you take this and you apply this to any aspect of your life, it will transform your life. It will transform your life. And that's right, $10,000 is what you're going to send me after I finish this training here, okay? All right? It will transform your life. Learn knowledge. Are you taking notes? Do you have this recorded? Will you go back and listen to this? The stories that I've actually gone through. There's a reason why I have 30 plus years of experience in this business so that I could help you shortcut yours. So I will share stories of my experience and the things that I've done, mostly my failures that I've done, so that you have the opportunity to circumvent or circumnavigate those failures and get closer to the success. My role and responsibility is for you to get to there faster. But if you're distracted, as I mentioned earlier, with so many things, if this opportunity is your watch and you don't even know what's on the watch, this won't make any sense to you. Have you taken inventory? Do you know how to get involved with IGO? Do you know how to make a booking? Do you know how it works for your customer? Do you know how to research, when does the commission come back to you? Do you know any of that stuff? Or are you just a salesperson? If you don't know the knowledge about your company, what you're selling a pipe dream. As much as I love the industry, the tool of network marketing, I'll be very candid with you. This industry is a bunch of hypocrites. That's why I'm not a network marketer. I've never been one. I'm a network marketer. You're nothing but a hypocrite who preaching some stuff that you don't do. I love the tool of network marketing. I love the vehicle of network marketing. But it creates the most closed-minded, shallow-minded individuals because most of us, and I'm talking about as an industry. Most of us don't know anything about what it is that we market, but we want to be millionaires. I'm not saying that you got to go read the fine print about travel, but if somebody was very serious, do you care about what their experience is going to be? Would you tell your client or whoever it is that gets involved, hey, listen, when you make your first booking, let me know. I'd love to make your experience a little bit better. Or they just got a boomerang. They're on their own. Is that how that works for you? Hopefully not. Hopefully you care a little bit more. I'm not saying go call up your free customers. I'm talking about the mindset. Hey, we're going to be doing booking airline tickets. Wouldn't it be nice to tell them, you know what? Quite often, we have much favorable rates, but it's not a guarantee that we're going to be cheaper on airlines. But many of my customers, because of the different routes that are taken, we find a lot of savings specifically on international. It's a business on its own. It is. It's a business on its own. It's one of the largest industries in the world, just travel alone. So learn knowledge is one of them. You're sitting here, you're going to events. How do you get your learned knowledge? You get your learned knowledge from attending flight school. You get your learned knowledge from attending events. You get your learned knowledge from books. So the question I'm going to ask you is, when it comes to learned knowledge, ask yourself the what, when, why, and how. What am I going to learn? Okay. When is the next time I'm going to put myself in a position to learn? Why is this information important to learn? And how do I go deeper when it comes to learning this information, if it's necessary? The what, when, why, and how. Second knowledge, learned knowledge, is activity knowledge. Okay? Activity knowledge. Activity knowledge basically is the knowledge that you learn from doing the thing that you just learned. What do I mean? Okay, if I'm teaching you right now how to build loyalty with the client, who's your clients? Who's your client list? First, start with your ambassadors. Then your external customers, your retail customers. And if I'm teaching you now how to get to a position of loyalty, how to become a great salesperson without selling, you've learned that. You know what? I've been a salesperson. I've been the closer. This is why I don't like people say I close them. No, I don't close people. I open them. I open them to the possibilities of a better life. I open them to the idea of a new relationship. I open them to the concept of more money. I open their mind to being bigger, better, healthier. I open their mind to different concepts of wealth. I'm not going to close them. Close means to shut off. I close the deal. I sold them. I closed them. I shut the deal, sealed the deal. That's what used car salespeople do. They close the deal. What about opening a new relationship? Hey, can you get on a call so we can open this guy? Does it even sound better? Sounds weird, doesn't it? Observe the masses and do the opposite. Observe the masses and do the opposite. Give me some more fire emojis over here. That's how you guys are going to pay me. Pay me in fire emojis. Okay? Activity knowledge. Take what I'm sharing with you right now and go start a new relationship today in your business. Who's on your list? Now categorize what are their needs, wants, and desires. I've got a person on my list. Can I think about what it is that they want, that they need? Or am I calling them because I've got a goal? Activity knowledge. I'll teach you how to use a script to open the conversation. But we're not here to be a script. But if I teach you a script to open the conversation, you learn it on this call. When do you learn it the most? When you go out activity-wise and you do it. I want you to remember something. If you hear something, you'll forget it. If you see something, you'll remember it. But it's not until you begin to do it that you'll understand it. This is why when I teach people, I share something with them and I make them repeat what I just taught. Why? You hear it, you'll forget it. You see it, you'll remember it. And it's not until you begin to do it that you'll actually understand it. Do you know only 10% of the people will do the thing? This is why we have a philosophy. Do the thing and you'll have the power. So the majority of the people in network marketing, Mark and I used to talk about this years ago, if you remember this, Mark. And this was probably about 15 years ago, we ran searches in network marketing. And the number one thing people wanted to do about network marketing is not make money. You know what they wanted to do? They wanted to learn about network marketing. They wanted to learn how to do it. They didn't want to do it, they wanted to learn how. You remember that, Mark? I had Mark running these. We were doing, Mark, do you remember those searches that we did?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And we came to the conclusion, this is why most people don't succeed. Most people want to be able to sell and have a good game. They don't want to do. But you got to get to step B, activity knowledge. Today, take inventory. By showing a fire emojis here, don't put the fire emojis in yet, okay? How many of you today are going to experience activity knowledge based off of what I teach you on this call? How many of you are going to get to at least step number 2 today alone? How many of you are going to have a conversation with somebody on your organization and you're going to move from being a salesperson to making sure that you communicate to them based off of what their needs are versus your needs? Start small, start with something. Change the script that you've been doing. HB has never come to close you. Desi and I had a conversation last week and she's called me up. HB, listen, I got this guy. He's very successful, blah, 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 blah. Could you help me get on your call and close him? Desi, I don't close people. Well, let's find out what he wants. What are his needs? Well, blah, blah, blah. He's excited about this and this and this. And, you know, but he's going to do this. And does he want to build a business? Because I'm not going to try to close him. Why? If I sell you on building the business and that's not what you see, I'm selling you because I want a big organization, not because you want one. I'm starting the relationship off the wrong way. And he's going to move to being told the truth, but he's going to have buyer's remorse. And so Desi and I, we talked about it, and I said, let's find out a little bit more about what he wants. Okay, that's what he wants. We'll put him in this environment so he can get what it is that he wants. Now, if you want to have a teaser there, you can share with him some concepts of what the benefits are of being a builder based off of what he says his objective is. There's an art form of being able to take a person from one place and move them to another place. I'm not going to teach that on this call. There's an art form to being able to do that. Okay. I can move you with questions. I can move you with my words, but I'm going to do it in integrity. I'm going to do it because it's what you want. How many of you remember the movie The Karate Kid? If you remember The Karate Kid, you had Mr. Miyagi, who was the master. He was the sensei, the karate instructor. We call them senseis, the master. And you had Danielson, okay? And his name was Daniel. They say Danielson because that's what people say out of respect in Korea. They call you, like Holton son would be my name in Korea, Holton son. But it was Danielson. And he would tell Daniel wanted to be the greatest. He wanted to win the championship. There was a competition and Daniel wanted to win that competition. And what Mr. Miyagi didn't do is Mr. Miyagi didn't close him on the competition. It was what Danielson wanted. But what Mr. Miyagi did is Mr. Miyagi would actually share with him, because Mr. Miyagi was the master. Paint the fence. Okay. And he'd be out there painting the fence for days and doing this motion, and he had no idea what was going on. But there's a reason why there's a mentor and a mentee. See, everybody wants to be coached and mentored until it's time to be coached and mentored. Danielson wanted to win, and he wanted Mr. Miyagi to teach him until it was time for Mr. Miyagi to teach him. Wax on, wax off, and he had him waxing the car, waxing. And Danielson thought, I'm over here doing all of this stuff and I'm waxing your damn cars and I'm painting your fences and you're just using me. Does that sound familiar between sometimes mentee and mentor relationship? The mentor tells you to do something, you don't understand it, so you think the mentor is wrong. But the reason you have them as a mentor is because they know what you need to do. And what Mr. Miyagi didn't do is force him to do anything. Mr. Miyagi knew exactly how to verbally use his art form to have him do something, to have him prepared for something else, because he knew what his goal was. Mr. Miyagi never got into his ego thinking that I want another champion with who's under my leadership. Mr. Miyagi said, no, I'm going to have him be a champion because that's what he wants. And the next thing you know, he did it enough, and Mr. Miyagi showed him some moves. He started punching at him, and he say the word wax on. The next thing you know, Daniel start blocking his punches. Daniel should start blocking his kicks. And he realized, wow, this man was an artist. This man moved me from where I was to over here, and I didn't even know it. And that's why we're called artists. The ability to hide the art, but move a person from one place to another person, and they never even knew it. If you're going to succeed at network marketing, it's not going to become, not because you get a bunch of bodies in that you only at level 2 of communication with, that you can only tell the truth or a lie and lie a bunch of people in. What's going to happen is they're going to keep going out the back door. You can have less number of people coming through, but have a higher level of communication with them and build a more successful business. And so activity knowledge is when you go out and you learn and you go out and do this. And then when you do this, then you'll get to a point where you're able to teach this. This doesn't mean that you need to put together a Zoom and say, and go repeat everything that we have this Zoom here. Let them hear it from the original here. But there's going to be other people that come in that you just start teaching in small doses, aspects of this. I'm just teaching you what the teaching and the learning curve is with the people that you bring in. But you've got to have this, you've got to be centered around them. Third, the C is going to be what I call modeling knowledge. Okay. Modeling knowledge. I'm going to see if I can get through this in another 17 minutes here, so we shut it down on time. Modeling knowledge. Modeling knowledge is when you learn from your mentors, is when you learn by your visual. So there's 3 different cues that you're always going to have: your visual, okay, your what you see, what you hear, and also, believe it or not, what you say. You say, well, speaking is not receiving. It is. It is. This is why the teacher learns the most, because you're hearing it twice. You're hearing it through your student, through your visual, and your brain is also hearing what it is that you say. You learn more when you teach something. but you shouldn't be teaching something until you, number one, learned it. Number two, going through activity knowledge, and then you start teaching after you've done it. And then the modeling knowledge starts to pick up because now you start learning from those that you're watching. You start learning from those that you're watching. Okay. So the visuals, when you see me, some of you, your mannerisms are like me. Why? You don't, because your brain picks up on these cues subconsciously. Have you ever seen people that they use the same phrases and they use sometimes similar cadences? Sometimes I'll listen to Darren and his cadence has gone the same way. I'll listen to Jada and Jada, who's been studying me for so long, I listen to her and I hear me in her, not because she says I want to sound like HB, but if you listen to someone for so long, you start to sound like them. Some people, they start to dress like their mentors. I would watch Darren, who would always wear his cap backwards, and I watch people in his organization, they wear their cap backwards. Why? Modeling knowledge. It's what they see from their leader. Okay? It's modeling knowledge. When I go out and I speak from the heart. I've never prepared slides to do presentations, and even these slides actually are being prepared as I'm speaking. Why? And so many of the people that I teach, they learn how to speak and communicate the way I've done it. So modeling knowledge. So these three phases here that I'm talking about, learn was the first phase. We talked about knowledge. Knowledge is basically the consumption and the study of different experiences so that you can improve your output. Learn knowledge, activity knowledge, modeling knowledge. So 3 phases here that we're talking about. Let's now go to the second one. We're going to learn, and then what we're going to do, we're going to earn. We're going to earn. In the earning, it's the numbers game. Okay? It's a numbers game. The first thing that we talked about is running You Inc., You Incorporated. Second thing we talked about is learning. You Incorporated is being able to manage you, manage your emotions. Don't use opportunities as your watch. Don't let this don't let this opportunity become your wall like I did. Now, the cool thing is I don't make money from this wall. I make money from my business. I make money from what I have, and I make money from iGo. I make money from Elevate. I make money from our compensation plan. That's a product. I will never, ever, ever, ever allow the compensation plan, iGo, Elevate, and the stuff that's going to be coming. I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to have that and let that be my watch. When it becomes your watch, something else that looks better is always appealing to you. Why? Because I've taken for granted the watch that I actually do have. And what ends up happening is you go off one day, you buy a watch, you come back home, you're like, oh, hold on for a second. I already have one of these watches. This is just different color. It ticks just like mine. It's got the same markings, it's just got a different face. Man, I had no, because I hadn't been paying attention. I haven't been paying attention. Okay? And the reason I tell you this is because so many people will always, you got to remember, in the learning phase and in the earning phase, many people will always give you excuses and reasons as to why, well, I need to move, I need to do something different, or I need to do a different company, I need to join a different church. Why? Well, the Holy Spirit ain't in this church, it's not in here. People, they say stupid stuff like that. Okay. Or there ain't no money in this comp plan. No, you know where the money's at? Right up under your seat. But you got to get up and do something to discover it. That's where the money's at. If this was a seminar, I would have said it differently. Okay, but I have the politically correct PG version modifier on. That's where the money's at. The money is not in the comp plan. You're right. The money is right below. Okay? And it's warm up under there. You've been sitting there too long. That's where the money's at. It's a numbers game. When you talk about earning, have you learned a compensation plan? I'm not saying that you need to sit there and study it all day long. Do you know where the money's at? 99% of you don't know where the money's at. I told the leaders the other day that we were going to do something in our compensation plan. Here's what I told them, okay? And I want you to read this in context. I'm going to say it slowly because I know how social media is today. You guys will take a video of this or look, he said it, and then you'll have the people in other companies floating it around saying, HB said he's going to give us a comp plan reduction. Nope. I'll trust me, I learned from Trump. I saw how they did him with all of the statements, and they just take one little sentence here. So you're not going to do that to me. So I talked to the leaders yesterday, and I told them, I said, listen, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to do something in our comp plan that's going to be pretty cool. We're actually going to reduce the amount of money that we pay out so we can increase your income. And the reason being is because where the money's at, none of you want to go find it, and none of you want to go get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put something in your face that I know that you think will be cool and cute, and you'll go run for this. It'll be less money, but you'll end up making more money because you'll be running for this excitement instead of running for what you have. If you work the plan based off of what we have, there's not one person in the industry who could out earn you if you put the numbers in. Okay. It's amazing. People think that, oh, if I'm at another company, I can put more numbers in. Why? Well, why can you put more numbers in? Why can't you put more numbers in with where you are? Other geography doesn't mean work gets less. It doesn't become less. I'm telling you, I've experienced that. It doesn't become less. It becomes harder. Okay. So what I'm saying is this here. It's a numbers game. And I was telling the leaders that yesterday, letting them know, and it's the truth. No, we're not changing our comp plan. Why? Because we already know what we have, but we're going to put a module in there that I know that many of you would like it. Why? Because we hear it all the time. And T. Gray and I, we go back and do the numbers, and we're like, they just don't have any idea. But okay, well, we'll give them that. We'll give that to them. And if that's what you want, I'm not going to judge it. If that's what makes you, if that's what, floats your boat, give you your hot seat, that's fine. Okay, we'll do that. And you'll make more money. You'll make more money. You'll make more money, okay? But it's a numbers game. But do you know the numbers? Do you know how the comp plan works? Do you know where the treasure is hidden in your comp plan? Do you know what activity you should be doing the most? Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest. I want you to be very honest here. Have you done an analysis of the compensation plan? As a business person, not as a network marketers only ask how much money you're making. They don't do an analysis of the comp plan like a business person would do and look at the comp plan, see where the money is, and say, okay, here's the activities that I should be doing to make sure that I produce the most income. Okay. Have you ever done and looked at the comp plan and said, okay, based off of this activity here, this produces the most income, and so I'm going to set my habits and my organization up so that if I make sure that we do more of these particular activities, it's going to give me a higher yield of income and a higher yield of retention. Have you done any of that? Okay. And if you haven't, I'm not going to judge you here. This is just being truthful. Okay. And so what we're saying is those are things that I want you to be able to do. If you haven't done it, and maybe you say, I don't even know where to start. Start with a group. Many of you probably, saw one of my posts that's probably like the most viral post that we did. I think it was either that was in Prague or Dubai, when I talked about, have you ever gotten a room with 4 or 5 people and the topic was how to make $1 million this year? Most people haven't. Don't take that philosophy to think that I only do that to make $1 million. Have I gotten a room with 4 or 5 people in my upline or within my group and maybe my upline or a couple cross line saying, how do we maximize the compensation plan? What activities should maximize the compensation plan? Have we looked at that? Have you taken that same philosophy and done it with our compensation plan? And then I said, you want to be a millionaire. How do you become a millionaire? And you won't even discuss the topic. If you won't discuss the topic of where's the sweet spot in the compensation plan, how do you think you'll ever hit it? I'm just asked, these are questions to ask yourself. Or am I just a wandering generality? I don't play the numbers game. I'm a wandering generality instead of meaningful specific. Am I just doing a whole bunch of stuff, hoping that I kick up enough stuff that millions will fall out of the comp plan? Or do I have a specific strategy and I know exactly what it is that I'm going to build? So I know exactly what I'm going to build. And the other question I'll ask you is this: do you think HB knows exactly what should be done? Has HB taught exactly what should be done? Yeah. And you have this example of Mr. Miyagi and Danielson. And here's an opportunity for you to get back to painting the fence. Mr. Miyagi, HB, has told you to paint the fence, paint the fence, paint the fence, wax on, wax off. And it's human nature. This is why Danielson was frustrated, because he didn't see the results. He didn't stay long. He didn't see the results, but he painted the fence long enough to where the results came. And sometimes, guys, you gotta stick to it, to what you're supposed to do. This is why we say commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. Okay. Commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. Are you committed to the continuous effort of a particular strategy that you know works based off of your master or your mentor? Master, when I say master, that means the person who's mastered the skills that you've been mentored by. And here's what happens. All too often, new masters enter your thought process and you abandon ship from listening to that master to this master. And the next thing you know, everybody becomes a master, but most haven't even learned. And they haven't gone through learned knowledge. They haven't gone through activity knowledge. They went from ambassador to master. They jumped straight to master. I am now the master. I'm going to teach this. I know I haven't done it, but I'm going to teach this. I know I haven't duplicated it, but I'm going to teach this. And so we start jumping from masters to masters to masters, and it creates confusion. Keep it simple. I'm telling you guys, keep it simple. Had Danielson been trying to learn from another sensei, it's not that the other sensei is wrong, but he's not exact. He's not exact. Okay. And many of you have learned that even in trading. It's not that one person has the lock on trading. No, it doesn't matter who you learn from in trading. But if you're trying to learn from 3 different people or even 2 different people, what happens is the information sometimes conflicts. I was a part of a trading group of real higher yielding traders, and we kind of trade, we kind of talk amongst each other. The same thing I told you that I do all the time, of getting together with people. And quite often what I noticed was one guy would always call a buy and another guy would call a sell within the same time frame. And within that same ATR, that average true range, both of them were right. But if you were with one guy who said buy, another guy said sell, you abandon ship and you'd actually lose your trade. And this is why, in anything that you're doing, you take one course. That's why focus is follow one course until successful. That's what focus means. F, follow. O, one. C, course. U, until. S, successful. Follow one. course until successful. Not follow one course until I don't feel like it. Not follow one course until I'm emotionally distracted. Not follow one course until the second course comes on. Not follow one course until the squirrel comes. Follow one course until successful. Until successful. Okay. So it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. I talked to a group a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to them about having the idea of what I call the comma club. The comma club is just a culture of having people who are making at least $1,000 a week in their binary check. Why not? If there's no philosophy behind $1,000 a week, there's no sense of urgency around $1,000 a week. There's no importance around $1,000 a week. So there's no inspiration for $1,000 a week. And what will happen is we will have mostly teachers versus doers. When you have mostly teachers, teachers are looking for more students, and those students now are going to do what you do, and they're going to move from student to master. And you have no doers, no activity knowledge. If everybody, and here's the reason why most people teach. You ever heard the term, those who can't do, teach? So what I'm saying is this: make sure that your organization become doers. Have you mastered this? Master this stuff. It's real simple. Master the art of being able to do 6 figures a month. Master the art of do you have the confidence of being able to take a brand new person in the business, and are you confident that you can get them to $1,000 a week? We're not saying 10 grand, 1,000 per week. And somebody says, and how long? It doesn't even really matter how long. I mean, just do you have the confidence? $1,000 a week should be within the first month that we could get them consistently. This is not everybody who's going to do it, because everybody's not. But if I haven't learned these first few things that I'm talking about, I won't do it. I won't even know to do it because I'm skipping from ambassador. You know what? I haven't been able to duplicate. Now, you know what? I'm just going to be a trainer. It's the same thing it's the same thing in trading. I've got a couple of buddies that own brokerages, and I'll be very candid with you. And many of the people that are very popular and famous in the industry of trading are horrible traders. They blow their accounts all the time. So they built up a great social media presence. They've made some good trades. They can but they blow their accounts weekly. Nobody knows that because they don't show you the blown accounts. They show you the good trade that they actually did make. Okay. So this is not saying that trading industry, no, the trading industry is a wonderful industry, but I'm giving you the example. The same thing takes place everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Whether it's trading, whether it's networking, whether it's whatever courses and all this stuff that people do and stuff like that people have. Well, I couldn't do it, so I'll start teaching it. I'm teaching you right now how to become a master, how to not be exposed, how to develop that loyalty within your following that you have so that you're congruent and so that you're consistent. But you've got to learn the numbers so that you can earn. If you know the numbers, you can grow the numbers. Okay. Elliot sent me a question, I think yesterday or whatever it is. I responded with him, teaching him how to know his numbers. This is going to show you This tells you what you're doing. So now when you understand these things, Elliot, you'll be able to predict and project a little bit more revenue based off of what you've seen here. But that's called becoming a business person and moving from network marketer to I'm a businessman who happens to use network marketing as an incredible vehicle. Network marketers are broke. Business people are able to build something of value and keep it long term. Know the numbers, understand the comp plan, understand how each aspect of the comp plan can work for you. That gives you an idea of how to put your game plan together and keep this thing really simple. The earning phase. Set an example of extreme profitability, $1,000 a week. Why not? Why not? We're only talking about building on your pay leg. We're only talking on your pay leg. Here's what we're talking about. On your pay leg, we're talking about seven CEO packs in your pay leg a week. Have you put together a strategic plan? Just think about this. How hard would it be? Show me an emoji in a minute. Do you think it's that difficult to have 7 people join the company at the CEO level? Okay, so now let's stop here for a second. All right. I think the biggest month that we've ever had was having the biggest month that we ever had. I think we put maybe about 6,000 people in the company. And about 30% of them came in at the top level. And the only thing we had was travel. IGO. By the way, the IGO we have now is bigger, better, stronger than the IGO we had in the beginning. Okay. Hector says, I would love to join the company. Hector, get with somebody, whoever invited you on here, gave you the Zoom, and make sure that they are someone who's in the learning phase and in the earning phase. Don't just sign up with, well, if they invited you, sign up with them. But if nobody invited you, interview your sponsor and make sure there's somebody who knows what they're talking about. But think about it. The question is, if 6,000 people join with only travel, and travel is better now, and we also have IGO, I'm sorry, we also have Elevate, we also have Trade Buddy, okay? Mark, put Trade Buddy results last week back up on here real quick. If you have that slide, whatever the Trade Buddy results were for last week. How many of you believe in what I'm saying when I told you, and like I said, this is not a beatdown, this is just true. How many of you believe what I said when I said I could bring someone, all they had to do was repackage this name, give you a whole new branding, different colors, but they'll come on, they'll have this special accent. I'll edify them. They'll tell you that they've been in trading for, trading Forex for 97 years. And they're this expert, and they're this expert, and they're this expert, and they're making $30,000 per month or $50,000 per month with a particular technology that they use. And if they sold it to you for $1,000, how many of you believe that $8,000 a month, how many of you believe 80% of the people buy it? Be honest with me. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. People say, sadly, you're correct, right? Yeah. So, and all they would have been doing would have been using Trade Buddy. So if we look at Trade Buddy here, it took 7 trades last week. That's on an average of 1 trade a day. 6 wins, 1 loss, 1,800 pips, 86% win rate. And if you had 1 lot traded, you would have made 18 grand. and you can't sell that, this is not an Ibüümerang problem. This is not, this is not an Ibüümerang. You don't even, listen guys, you don't even need, even all of the platform stuff that we have. That's, well, if nobody's going to build the business because the platform is not here. Maybe you don't understand the value of what you have. Yeah. I had, somebody thought the world was over because coffee and charts wasn't going to be the same. I appreciate Donnie for what he's done for however many years that he's done it. But is your whole business based on one person, whether they're going to be doing coffee and charts? And I think he's still doing it. But even if he said, you know what, I am not doing coffee and charts, don't nobody talk. Your whole business is based off of one individual. That's insecure. $18,000 would have been made, and all I have to do is to sell you this for $10,000 to start, and $1,000 a month, and you do it just like that. You would do it in a heartbeat because you do it every day, but because Trade Buddy is your piece of art, you don't respect it. I'm not even talking about the other signals that were there. $18,000 alone just on Trade Buddy. So have you done the math and have you calculated that, and have you, I'm just showing you how, forget about trading. I'm saying just Trade Buddy alone. Teaching them, what's your experience? How do you properly utilize it? Have you mastered it? Or are you still a salesperson and selling them on a bunch of garbage and a bunch of lies and a bunch of hype, thinking that they're going to get in and make a decision to stay? It's not going to happen like that. You got to build a real true business based off of a foundation. That's why we talked about You Incorporated first. I could sell this all day long. You want to know how I know for a fact? A buddy of mine and myself built a particular product. It was an EA trader. Why didn't you bring it to Ibüümerang? We have Trade Buddy here. We built one, and many of you have probably seen it before, but it cost $7,000 minimum just to get access to it. $7,000 to get access to it, and it only trades one pair. Okay, that's it. Euro USD. That's all it trades. And we started it, and they was going to go to a next phase of it, and then I said, you know, the second phase, no, I don't want to be a part of that part. So I'm no longer a part of it, but he's still a good friend of mine, and the number of customers that buy it, it's astounding. $7,000 upfront, and you pay a percentage every month. I mean, you pay a fee every month to have it, and it's not it's not even close to Trade Buddy's results. But if I even brought him on to talk to you guys, you buy it all day long. Hey, how can I give you $7,000? You got Trade Buddy. You don't need it. You don't even need it. And so sometimes you got to strip things down to see, what do I really have? Instead of going from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, thinking and doing the exact same thing. So we got to know the numbers. Break this down, understand what this is like, show people how to make this happen. If trading is if you see that that's what don't do it for you to get a distributor. No, fall in love with people's desires. Not what's in it for me, what's in it for them. Okay? What's in it for them? And I'm telling you, this is how it works. Okay? Many of you probably now see a lot of these AI traders on Instagram. How many of you see these AI traders now? Okay. You see all these AI traders on Instagram and stuff like that? All right. That was one of the products I was talking about. And now I realize 90% of them come from one particular algorithm. And one of the leaders, one of the leading ones, it was $12,000. At first, it was 20 grand to start, and you had to pay a monthly subscription along with it. And probably 4 months ago, it blew 80% of the accounts. It wasn't a PAM. It was, whereas you would have access to the software and you can trade your own, and 80% of the accounts were blown. Look at the win strategy every single week here. Don't we have a pretty good win strategy, success ratio every week, Mark, with Trade Buddy?
Yes, sir.
Every week, every single week. But what happened is you'll look at these numbers just like you look at your Rolex, and you don't even see that 18,100 with one trade. You know what you see? I'm used to that. It's not new. It's not exciting, because remember I told you that you get so excited with the endorphins. The endorphins is that, the dopamine effect comes from something new. If it's new, I'll be excited. And you've trained. This is why social media has ruined most of our brains, because we only have an attention span of 1 minute and 30 seconds. And our opportunity attention span is horrible as well. This is why, we said, don't get weary in well doing. Don't get boring with things that actually work. Okay. Don't get bored with things that actually do work. I took some of the Trade Buddy trades this week here, and they were off the charts, when it came to gold, just off the charts. And I was trading, a little bit more than one lot. But when you look at these, it's incredible what happens. If you go back over a year, and if you only took Trade Buddy trades, and see how, and if you mastered the art of how Trade Buddy works and when to enter, because you would have done it over a period of time, now you'll understand, hey, I've got something here that is absolutely phenomenal. All right. And so the last part I want to get to is this. We talked about the earning part. Learn, you earn, and then you return. Learn, earn, and then return. Learn, earn, and return. What do I mean by return? Once you've learned, once you've earned, then you return. Then you come back, and that's when you become the master. That's when you come back and you give. That's when you come back and become the master teacher. But you don't learn, or in the middle of the learning, no earning, but you want to return. No, you come back once you've mastered it. When people come back to get, how many of you want, hey, this guy went out, he left the community, didn't do anything, but he's coming back to give back what he learned. No, nobody's going to show up for that class. You come back, you return, you duplicate yourself. You make it available to duplicate yourself. And so that's what you should be doing. Nobody can tell you what that time frame should be, but that's how you do it with your team. You learn, you earn, and then you return. This is why when we do events, we bring the people who've actually done it and we put them on stage. We don't put the people who don't know how to do it on stage because they can speak. No, have you done it? What's the rank? Have you put some people in the business? Have you been able to duplicate yourself? Do you have other successful people? Now you return. And you return and you give. And that's why when you come back and you get on the stage or get in front of this camera, it's not for you. I don't give on this camera for me. I come and I give for you. It's my way of saying, let me give value of what I have. I know what you want. And let me transfer all of the wealth that I have, which is up in here, which is the most important wealth. The most important wealth ain't this fireplace stuff and the house and all that stuff is, at some point in time, it will go away. But what I've learned this energy will always, always, always flow through the universe. Napoleon Hill is dead and gone, but the energy of his knowledge still floats around. It's in the ether. Many of you have learned from him, and he's been dead and gone for a very long time. So the wealth that he built up in here pays more dividends than any amount of money that he accumulated in his bank account. Your priorities have to be in line. You learn, you earn, and then you return. And when you return with gifts, gifts of knowledge, gifts of experience, gifts of wisdom. Gifts of wisdom. Okay? Gifts of wisdom. Gifts of experience, stories. Many of you don't have enough stories. Go out and create some stories. And once you create those stories, you start to see, you start paying attention to people. And the thing that you'll realize is this here. Here's what you'll learn the most. Here's what I've learned the most. And I'll say this again. When you learn to fall in love with the needs, desires, and the dreams of other people, money will always chase you. When you have a love connection with the dreams and desires of other people, that's when that person that you are, and that there's something that's inside of you now starts to attach to a solution. You become that tool. You become that resource. That's all I was. That's all I've ever been, is a resource to say, let me take this and solve this particular problem. A good friend of mine, Pete Vargas, called me up yesterday at 6 in the morning. HB Bugs, you sleep, money don't ever sleep. I said, Pete, I went to bed at 3 o'clock, but I'm up. I said, I answered the phone, right? He said, yeah, you did. Bugs, I need you. That's all he had to say. I need you. And automatically, here's what happened. My antennas, the antennas that I have for solving problems and falling in love with the needs, desires, dreams, and goals of other people turned on. Bugs, I need you. That's all he had to say. Why? He's been a friend. Hey, I have this situation here, blah, 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 at this airport, and I've got this kid here that the mom missed the plane and she can't get over here to get, and this kid's coming in from Mexico, and all he needed to say was, I need you. And what I did is I got up out of bed and I went and I started brainstorming, and I said, you know what? I can have Anna solve this, right? And I start resourcing who can solve this problem. First thing was Anna. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, you know what? No, is that? And I saw this person who can solve it. Then I said, oh, you know what? Boom, I'm a resourceful person. I can solve this here. And my driver has a fleet of cars, and people are always at the airport. Let me call him and see if we can. All I was doing was working to solve a problem. I solved the problem. Now, is Pete going to pay me to solve that problem? No. We paid our driver for solving that problem. But you know what Pete's going to pay me with? Hey, Pete, one day, hey, I need you to come on to our call. Here's a guy who makes tens of millions of dollars a year. I solved the problem for him. One thing about people who have resources is they never forget who helped solve problems for them. Pete, why don't you come onto the call here, and I'd love to introduce you to my organization. Just talk to him. Could I get you to do that, Pete? You know what Pete's going to say? Man, you know what? Bug's been my mentor for years. He solved problems for me. Of course I will. Now, you know what it costs and what Pete charges Tony Robbins? You know what Pete charges Grant Cardone? You know what Pete charges the top people in the world? I know what he charges because we talk about it. But if I call Pete, you know what? Pete's going to be here. And Pete will be offended if I try to offer him any money. Okay. Why? Because I fell in love with solving people's problems. And I didn't do that because I want Pete to owe me a favor. And some of you won't get this right now. Some of you are going to think some of you won't learn how to translate what I'm saying into building this business. But what I told you is how you do anything is how you do everything. And so when a person calls me, and one of the things that I've always done in building is I would keep a notepad, and I would have a note when I first meet a person in the business, and I find out what their goals are, and I always have what they want. So when their phone rung, when their phone rung, I know why I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to this person over the phone because I need a new car. I'm not talking to this person over the phone because I need a new watch, or I need a new house or clothing or whatever it is. I'm on the phone talking to this person, and I'm sitting here and I'm spilling my guts talking to this person because this person told me that they want to bring their wife home from work because they've got 2 young kids, and daycare in school is teaching a message that they can't stand, but their wife has to go to work because they don't make enough money. I know I'm working for this. This is what I'm working for. And what I've learned is that the universe always comes out there and say, this man is working to make this place a better place. We're going to reward him. So my money doesn't come out of comp plans. My money comes out of goodwill. My money comes because I boomerang. That's where the wealth is from. That's who your company is. That's the foundation of what this was built on. And what I ask of you is do not shy away from it. Understand it, make it a part of the essence of every presentation that you do. Keep your style the way you have it. Keep having fun the way you have fun. I am not telling you to, like I said, to go out holding hands, singing Kumbaya, and I'm only here to help people and go around and doing them. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is fall in love with solving the challenges and problems of other people, and watch how money chase you. We're going to learn, we're going to earn, and we're going to return. Love you guys. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal. Can't wait to go into the new year with you. I can't wait to even finish up this week with you. Make it a point from yourself. Those of you who are out there, make it a point today to operate on the highest levels of communication, as I mentioned. Go out there and have some activity knowledge and teach something that you learn. Do something that you've learned, from what you heard on this call today. And also make sure that you start one-on-one basis, teaching it through example. Watch what happens to your life. 90 days. They give you 90 days, okay? 90 days of operating on this philosophy. Go fall in love with solving other people's problems and watch how yours disappear. T. Gray, Mark, I want to turn it back over to you guys. You guys have been phenomenal.
Wait.
I know we got to do our photo.
All right, you guys ready? On 3, 2, and 1. All right, hey, phenomenal.
And for those of you who are still out there, let's pay HB. I need to get paid. I need my fire emojis. Let's pay me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Love you, ambassador.
All right, everybody. Love you guys. Page B. Let's go.